Hello, 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 everyone. Mary Lou Andre back again with a new episode of Beyond Dressing Well Live. And I missed you guys. It's been a couple weeks. I was in Arizona the last 6 days, got home very late last night, and I'm just so delighted and happy and excited to share my journey with all of you. As you know, our goal here is to give each and every one of you 2 or 3 brand new ideas that you can implement immediately, really making everyday style easy. So I thought we would open the program a little differently than we usually do. I have my candle going in my new terracotta pot that I bought. I just had such a wonderful time, and I would love it if all of you could just help me keep and harness the energy and the relaxation and the restoration that I experienced the last couple days. It was just phenomenal. And what I thought I would do to make this program even more meaningful is really walk you through how I believe I manifested this beautiful trip and the steps that I took so that I could really check out and have an awesome time that frankly I really needed. So for all of you listening, Sedona, I was in Arizona. I started in Phoenix. I was on a conference with my husband. I had the opportunity to go to Scottsdale and have lunch with Charlotte Otto, who I hope is listening. Hello, Charlotte. You were just so wonderful to finally meet you. You've been such a long-term firm client, and you're also a graduate of our 90 Days to Stellar Style program. But I was able to go to Phoenix. I was able to go to Scottsdale. I've been to both Phoenix and Scottsdale, but only on business conferences where I was presenting. So I literally flew in and flew out, wasn't really relaxing. And of course, I spent the last few days, those of you that may have seen my Facebook posts, in Sedona. And Sedona was the crown jewel for me. So I have been thinking about Sedona for many, many years. I have journaled about it, I've talked about it, I've researched it. And one thing that I wanted to share with all of you guys, that if you have a bucket list trip, it is never too early to get in your head that you're going to get there. I knew I had to get my kids launched. I knew I had to have a little bit of cash in the bank to go there. But when the invitation came in, only 2 months ago, the beginning of March, my husband does an annual trip every year with one of his clients, and the invitation came in for the Biltmore, Arizona, which was incredible, over the top. Wonderful time with him and his colleagues. And then the minute that invitation came in, I said, I am going to Sedona. So I'm going to share 7 kind of key philosophies and tips to really manifest vacationing in just the right way, and whatever it works for me, and I hope some of what I say works for you. But that was number 1, is just be intentional about travel. I have been my whole life, and it's amazing when you get focused how the opportunities just appear. The next thing I did when I said, oh my goodness, I'm so lucky. Hello, Ellen Jacobs, I see you. I'm so lucky that I finally get to go to Arizona as a guest. I was a +1 on this trip. And again, going to Sedona, which was something I always wanted to do. So actually the 7 steps that I've laid out, I haven't gotten to number 1 yet. I just said that, in terms of getting ready for these big trips, I always say when you put the energy out there, things kind of happen. But number 1 is, once I really sunk in that I was going to be able to go on this dream vacation with my husband that I'd always wanted to do, the first thing I did was I set an intention for the trip. And my intention was no work, restoration, as much outdoors time as I could possibly fit in, openness, letting go, allowing myself to be a guest at the Phoenix part of the conference, which by the way was at the Arizona Biltmore. Google that place. Oh my goodness, it was probably the nicest resort I've ever been to in my life. It's a Frank Lloyd Wright property. So those of you that follow that celebrated architect, he didn't actually design the resort, but he inspired the bricks and a lot of the vision of the place was him. And I ended up going, hi Maria, how are you? I see you sneaking in there. I ended up I read, if any of you guys are a Frank Lloyd Wright fan, I read the book Loving Frank probably 10 or 15 years ago. One of the best books that I ever read. Maybe Sarah can get that up in the chat. But yeah, I just, from the minute the plane landed, I was all in on relaxation, really taking in everything and allowing myself to be a guest. And as you guys know, we provide a lot of service here in our firm. So when you can really change your mindset and say, I'm going to go and really relax into this new setting, this new experience, meet new people, it's really fantastic. So step number one, whenever I go on a trip, is I set an intention. Number two is do your research. So as I mentioned earlier, Sedona in particular had been on my bucket list for a really long time. I knew this is the third trip I've been on with this particular group of people that I went to the Arizona Biltmore with, and I knew that they had that covered. Hello, Pat Perry. I knew they were going to do a phenomenal job. So I got busy on doing my research for Sedona. So I said to my husband, I'm going to take charge of that part of the trip. And when I say take charge, he's amazing. He always knows what to do, and he's such a great travel companion. But I kind of just said, this is where I want to stay. He made the reservations. He rented the car and all that. But I reached out to my good friend Sue Rossi. Her daughter's a travel writer, and I knew that they had just been in Sedona. So I reached out immediately to Sue, got Ashley's writings on the trip, asked Sue where I should stay. She told me exactly the hotel. It wasn't even a hotel. It was another magical resort, and incredible. We were on a river, just amazing. The whole trip was awesome. And then I also put it out to you guys in the community, and Charlotte Otto, who I just mentioned, Charlotte got in touch with me and said, I'm in Scottsdale. I'd love to see you when you're out here. And then Charlotte and I were emailing, and she gave me so many great tips. And of course, when I got there, I told all of you guys where I was, and people, the restaurant that I went. Thank you, Maria, if you're on. I ended up going to an amazing restaurant that Maria, who's in the group, gave me the name of that. So that's number two, is do your research. And then number three is make your plan. Like I got on the reservations. I got the dog sitter. My poor Susie Q was so upset when we left. There she is. She has a new Southwestern cape on. I'm going to bring her in a couple minutes. But I just got, I really made the plan. And the other thing is, we just launched our new program, Dressing Well Mastery. Welcome to all the new members that joined. We're in week 2 of that. But I knew that we were going to have to really work hard to transition 90 Days to Stellar Style to the new mastery experience. And I was all in. I was like, I'm going to do this with Sarah, with Megan, with Leah, with Sabina. We're all in this together. We're going to work really hard. And then I'm going to be able to just really sail into my vacation. And then number 4 is really the heart and soul of this program, and I know it's why you all tune in. It's the mindset around the pack. And I was on a coaching call the other day, or 2 weeks ago, before I went on my vacation, and we were talking about self-care. And one of the women said that self-care to her is creative expression. And I said, self-care to me is creative expression as well. And fashion and shopping and how I show up and all that is a big piece of the anticipation for a trip. It's a way that I can really check out, do something really creative. So I wanted to walk through with all of you what I did to prepare for my pack. And I had 2 different climates, because it was 100 degrees in Phoenix and Scottsdale, and it was about 80 degrees in Sedona, and nighttime got a little bit cooler. So it really was a pack that required a lot of attention. I also had set the intention to do a lot of outdoor activity, and my number one activity was hiking, and I knew that I was going to have to spend a little bit of time knowing how to dress for that climate, to be safe as a hiker. So I wanted to give myself enough time to, again, really enjoy the whole experience, the planning, the thinking, the anticipation of a trip like this. So wrote a lot of notes for you guys tonight because I didn't want to miss anything. But 6 weeks out, so I got invited, found out about the trip 2 weeks before I went to Florida. So early March, and I was going to Florida to be with my mom and my aunts. I got the invitation to go on this trip. So I got my rack out, my handy dandy rack, and I also got the dress code. Look at this. These folks that we were on this trip with just did it up right. But there was 3 major dinners for the Phoenix. And again, if you never heard of the Arizona Biltmore, Google it. It is incredible. It looked like Hollywood. But they sent out this really cool resort casual attire guide, and it was for what you should wear for the first night. And the first night was this. So we landed, we went to the hotel, we went to the pool, then we went and changed. And the first night with this amazing, hi Carol, nice to see you, was this beautiful reception on the lawn. So, I knew wedges or flats I was going to have to do. Plus I knew it was going to be about 100 degrees. And then the next night, it was a boots and bling resort casual or Western wear. So I knew I had to pay a little attention to that. And then the third night was resort cocktail attire. It was jackets for the guys. It was pretty dressy. It was inside. It was a band and dancing. Haven't done that in a while. So I was like, I've got to really make sure that I have what I need before the last minute, because I was really busy at work right before the trip. So what I did was I racked everything for the resort part of the trip. And I ended up, so the first thing, of course, you guys know that I always get my airport style down first. And I think that Sarah is going to be putting some links in the chat. But when I last talked to you, I was thinking of wearing this, I was going to do my long black sweater over my white jeans, my white t-shirt. But then as I started to pull together my outfits for the hiking part, gray just kept coming up. So I ended up getting this little Athleta jacket, which I love. I love the gray. And I wore it over white jeans and a gray t-shirt that I already had. And of course, my white sneakers, which I love. I bought these in January, and I know I keep sharing these shoes, but they're Paul Green. I think Sarah's going to put them up in the chat. They're just incredible. They're so comfortable, but that's what I wore on the plane. And then before I did too much more shopping, I just went through and said, I have this dress. I bought this last year. How many of you guys go to the chart room out there? The chart room in Falmouth. We hang out there all summer, but they had this new boutique, and I had this dress, and I really didn't wear it much. I bought it late in the summer, and it's got this really pretty bottom. So I said, I got that for one night. And then for the night that was the boots and the bling, oh my goodness, so much fun in the middle of the desert. By the way, they had all these cool adult games. My husband was on a bull. I did a axe throw. I got a bullseye. It was unbelievable. I sat there and I said, I'm going to get a bullseye. And I went twice and it bounced. You only got 3 tries. The third try, bullseye, only person in the place. So fun. And then some of the women that I was hanging out with, they're like, walk away, never try that again, go out a winner. So anyway, it was just that kind of a trip. I had so much intention. I had so much joy in my heart. I was so relaxed. I was letting go of everything. And what I ended up wearing that night was, some of you remember that we went, I know Sarah remembers, we went to Chatham Bars Inn last November, and it was 90 degrees. I had to run out. We were leaving on Sunday, and I ran out. I had my whole pack done for November at the Cape, which was shawls and sweaters, and it was 90 degrees. So I picked up this little sweater. It's Steve Madden, this little dress. It's Steve Madden. I got it at Bloomingdale's. I didn't pay hardly anything for it, but I wore it in Chatham because it was so warm. And I said, oh my goodness, I have this dress. I'm gonna, shoot me if I go out and start buying all these clothes for this one weekend. So I did have my little cowboy boots that I like. I had a real cowboy boots, but they were going to be way too hard to pack. So I had these little boots. These are Kenneth Cole. Got them in my travels somewhere. And I put this belt on with it. And I had my jean jacket. It got really cool at night, so I did put the jacket on. The only thing I was really bummed about is I forgot most of my jewelry. I only had a couple pairs of earrings, and I had all this turquoise jewelry at the Cape that I just didn't have a chance to get before I left. But I feel like if I had had like a big piece of chunky turquoise jewelry, I would have really rocked it. But I put a lot of pictures in the chat. The women were just so well dressed, the guys too. My husband had a cowboy hat. He didn't have cowboy boots, so most of the guys did. But it was just an incredible night. And it was under the stars. There was this huge barn, and at 8 o'clock they opened it up, and there was like 100 of us on this trip. And it was crystal chandeliers in this barn, tablecloths, candles, flowers, food. It was crazy. And then after dinner, we went out to, again, under the stars, and they had transformed this area into this magical dessert station bar. It was unbelievable. They had animals there. They had dancing. They had a country band. Oh my goodness. But this is what I wore, and I felt so great about reusing this dress, which I think cost me, honestly, about $40 to $50 at Bloomingdale's, a purchase, and I love to always repurpose. Then I also I bought this dress for my kids' college parties last year, and I never wore it. And it was perfect for the formal night. It's navy blue, it packs up. By the way, this is a huge trend. I saw this all over Arizona, everywhere. I saw this long version, short versions. It really does camouflage weight. It's got a little bit of stretch, and I actually wear it backwards because I like the higher neck. You see that? This is the way you're supposed to wear it, but I like it this way. And I got this in Florida last year, and I was just so psyched to repurpose it. I wore it with my white shoes that I never get to wear, and then I only bought for Phoenix. I only bought maybe 4 things for this trip. I did spend some money on upping my hiking gear, but I bought this little bag, frugal fannies, people. I'll tell you about my crazy shopping to get ready for the trip. But this was $24.99, and I had it with this dress. I had big gold earrings. It was the 3rd night. All of us were getting a little tired. I had my shoes that I wouldn't have been able to wear on the lawn, but I could wear it inside. And it was just perfect, especially for the last night where people were tired, and it was just really comfortable. It was 100 degrees there. So everything I brought really fit the bill. So that's what I did first was I got my rack out, and I put everything that I already had on the rack. And remember, I also went to Florida this year, and I did a little bit of shopping for Arizona, and I'll show you what I got. And then what I did is I just made a list. Like, I knew I needed a little white bag to go with those shoes. For this dress, I wanted to have a little cover up. So I got this, and I just made a little list of the 5 things I needed to pull everything together. And that looked really great. I felt a little pale the first night. I wore this on the first night on the lawn. And again, the 2 things that I forgot were, I forgot some of my jewelry, which I was kind of bummed out about. And then I thought I forgot my Ray-Bans, and I found them tucked into the bottom of my backpack. But other than that, I didn't have as much jewelry as I had wanted, but it was totally okay. So I hope you guys are following me. Then the next thing is in Florida. You know I love to shop in Florida. You know I love to go to those boutiques there. I said, okay, if I see anything great, I'm gonna pounce on it. So the two things that I ended up buying, only bought like 5 things in Florida this time. I actually worked when I was down there this year. I had 2 clients, but the 5 things that I bought were just spectacular. So new favorite dress of all time. I bought this lightweight dress. I wore this when I had lunch with Charlotte. I hope Charlotte is watching. Hello, Jody, I see you. But I just love this dress. I wore this all over the resort. So the first night again was the patio. Friday we went on our first hike, and I'll get into the hike in a minute because I really went all out on my new hiking attire. I am going to be a hiker now. And every time, and then the next night, oh, that was the desert that I just talked about. Saturday, I went to the spa all day. You should have seen the spa. They had the cold plunge. They had towels and pillows on the lawn. It was just unbelievable. So I went with a few of the young women that were organizing. I really connected with the gals that work for the company that were organizing it. They reminded me of myself 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 15 years ago. Just so wonderful. And not that I'm wonderful, I didn't mean to say it like that, but just, you know, just full of energy, and they were just so energetic about their jobs, and they were really passionate about making sure everybody was having a good time. So I ended up going to the spa with 2 of them, which was such a treat. And you get to have the spa pass for the whole day, but like just walking into the spa in this dress, I had lunch. It was 100 degrees the day that I met Charlotte over in Scottsdale. And Charlotte, you can correct me in the chat if I'm saying it wrong, but we went to this incredible, hello Lynn Goose, this incredible shopping area, Curland, I think it was. I had never seen anything like it in my life. So my intention when I went there though was to really relax, recharge. So even though I had a lovely lunch with Charlotte and I took a couple pictures of the shops, I had no interest in shopping. I had done my shopping before the trip. Shopping is very joyful and creative, but again, I set the intention that this trip was really to be restorative, to let go, to experience, to be in the moment. And this dress just let me do that. Isn't it just so pretty? By the way, the colors that I saw a lot of through the trip were the yellows and the pinks. Magenta was a big color. Turquoise was a big color. But anyway, this is one of the things that I bought for the trip. The other item that I got, I have the candle on here. I'm gonna like burn the house down. The other item was I found this little jumpsuit when I was in Sarasota at one of my little haunts, and like how could I not buy this? It had like the sunset and the orange and the turquoise and all my colors. So I didn't, it was actually a little bit hot in Phoenix, and I really didn't need it in Phoenix because I was either at the pool or kind of dressed up or hiking. But I ended up wearing this the last night. My husband and I went out to dinner. And we went to a beautiful restaurant. Maria put the restaurant in the chat. DeLuca, whatever restaurant you told me to go to, I could not get a reservation at Mariposa. Everybody told me to go to Mariposa. I couldn't get her. I think you need, if you go into Sedona, you need like a reservation 2 months in advance. We did go to Mariposa on the way back from the restaurant and just sat under the stars. It's a beautiful restaurant, and their claim to fame is you can watch the sunset. But the place we had dinner at was just perfect, Maria, so thank you. And this jean jacket has been in my wardrobe forever, and I wore it with the dress, and I took this off and I put the belt. And then this was another thing that I picked up at Frugal Fanny's. We'll talk about Frugal Fanny's, but I love this brown color, and I just wanted a little bit of a wedge. I had planned to wear these maybe at the Biltmore. I didn't, but they just felt really fresh, and we just had a great time. I also this is the jacket that I wore in the desert for the Boots and Bling party. And Lori Gomes, if you're watching, our friend Lori that owns Island Pursuit, I bought this jacket probably 10 years ago in Chatham at Island Pursuit. It's a Prana, that yoga brand. So it just felt so in sync with Arizona and Sedona. So I bought those two dresses, and the only other thing that you guys, I bought this, I think I showed this on a live, but this is from Anthropology, and I bought this in DC when I was on my way to Florida, and this ended up becoming what I wore for the pool. So a little strategy on the pool. I have this really nice beach bag, and what I do is I pack what I'm going to wear to the pool in the bag. So I had this. I got this new bathing suit. I did buy this for the trip too, but it was really, really pretty with this. And the nice thing about this skirt is you could wear it as a skirt, and then of course you could wear it all the way up. I even had the belt on it one night, and I was playing around in my room, even like this top that I have on, which I bought for you guys. I couldn't come home without something new for my live show, but that's Anthropology. I think it's in the chat. You know, if I went out, I did bring these shoes. I didn't end up wearing them, but I could have worn that one night. So when you get really prepared and intentional at home, for me, I can really relax once I get there. And once I get there, I'm kind of a stickler. I hang up all my things. I use the drawers. I set it all up like my little boutique, and I settle in. And again, please take what works from the show that works. Leave the rest behind. I show my creativeness. I express myself to the world through style. And this is just one of the ways that makes my heart sing. So I set it all up. I always overpack, by the way. If my good friend June is watching, I love her expression. She always says, no trip is worth going on if you don't have a packed bag. So there was my husband with his golf clubs, which he did check, and his tiny little carry-on bag, and he had a sports coat in there, all of his hiking gear. And then there's me with the big bag to check. I had my bag that I always take so that I can bring stuff home. But anyway, the only stuff that I didn't wear those shoes. I wore this. And the other thing that I got in Florida, I got these little shorts in Florida. Are they the cutest or what? So I did wear these. It was so hot. And the only other bathing suit I brought was my green bathing suit. So my inspiration for the pool, which was incredible. There were 7 pools at this place, full on bar service, restaurant service. It was incredible. Towel service, you name it. But my inspiration was my bag. And then I packed all my beach stuff, including my little beach shoes, in the bag. So when I got to the resort and I put this on the bottom of the bag, I just took it out and put it in one of the drawers. So that was that. I did bring these shorts too. Everything was green and blue. I also did like a little color story. My stuff at night was more in the browns and the blues. My pool stuff was in the blues and the greens and in the coral. And you can just see how everything kind of went together. So that was really fun. And so that was daytime. And then we left for Sedona on Sunday. And I have to say, oh my goodness, I could live there, and I might live there someday. I had such an amazing time, and I'm just coming back, and I can just tell that I'm better for the time spent there. What can I say? I'm a little bit of a mystic. Some of you may know that about me. Some of you may be surprised. I did have an energy reading and got some real good clarity, actually on a couple new things that I think we're going to introduce in the business. Got some excellent clarity on that. So that was super exciting. And just, we stayed where my friend Sue told us to stay. This is a picture of Sedona. It's just so beautiful. The water surprised me. But we stayed in this little, it was called Salt Rock Resort. It had a spa, but I'd already done my spa stuff. And we got upgraded because I'm a point girl. I've got American Express points. And we got upgraded. And we had a room right outside the river. And we woke up and we sat for a good 2 hours in the morning because we were up so early. And it was just exquisite. And my husband fished a little bit. We walked around. We went to Jerome, which is on the way to Sedona. It was fun. It's like a little ghost town. That was kind of cool to see that. And again, I went to my Gateway Cottage Wellness Center and bought some books and crystals and had a little energy reading because that's my thing. And we also went to Tlaquepaque. I can't even say it, but it was this really wonderful artisan art galleries. It was just incredible. And so many people told me to do that. And my strategy there was I went over there by myself and walked it, found an incredible lunch place called the Secret Garden Cafe. My husband met me for lunch, and I walked all around. And then the next day before we left, yesterday morning actually, I wanted to shop. And I hadn't done any shopping really. I got my Susie Q a little gift, but I hadn't done any shopping for me. And I was thinking of all of you guys. So there was one shop over there that I knew had things that I would like. And I bought this top because it just spoke to me. I bought the t-shirt. I bought the earrings. I bought this little bracelet. Nothing was expensive there. This bracelet I've had in my husband bought me this for one of our anniversaries. It's just beautiful. And I had it on and it had the purples and the oranges that were so popular this time of year. But that was one of the things that I did was I went over and kind of experienced it, and we really were there to hike. So Sunday night when we got there, we went on the pink Jeep tours. Thank you to all of you guys who recommended that. And we were on almost like a private tour. It was another couple, adorable young couple from, where were they from? South Carolina, and the tour guide, and we saw the sunset. It was just one of those trips where I went just to go on a walk when we settled into the hotel, and I went to see what this pink Jeep thing was about, and the woman was like, we have room on the 7 o'clock if you and your husband would like to come on the sunset tour. There's only 2 other people booked. I'm like, I called my husband, I said, you want to go? He's like, yes. It was just, there's so much to be said about just letting go and being in the moment, and that's what the trip was about for me. So even when I went over to this beautiful shopping area, which was just so exquisite, I wasn't shopping, I was just taking it all in, and then I knew the one store I was going to go back to. And the other thing I did that was kind of important, and you guys inspired me here too, because some of you were yelling at me for not having a hat on in my hiking pictures, but let's like roll back for a minute. And I know we're going over a little bit on time, so I will go fast. But once my strategy for this trip again was set the intention, which to me was relaxation, restoration, being open, letting go. Running a business, you are always on, and I just needed to check out, and I was able to do that. And how I'm able to do that is when I'm prepared, when I've done my research. I like to make the trip. As I mentioned, we had so much going on here in the company, and the company is doing so well. I have the most amazing folks working and serving all of you. Sarah just kicked off that mastery program that we're really proud of. That did take some time to relaunch. We're relaunching our website. We've got a lot going on, but I said I'm going to set the intention to work really hard, spend my weekends doing what I love, which is packing. And by the way, if you would like us to help you do this, we don't just teach online. We have full-blown services where this is what we do for our clients. I had a client that went to the Masters a few weeks ago. She didn't even have to think about it. I made sure she had every single thing she needed. The only thing she had to do was take the list and pack the bag. That's what we do here. So I gave myself the time to really do what I do for others for me, and it truly was magical. So after I racked all my clothes and really saw what I had, and remember, the only thing I was looking for was a cover up for one of the dresses, a white bag for another dress. I had the shoes taken care of. I had my travel outfit. I had my 2 extras thrown in the bag, which I actually wore a lot from the Florida shop. I had my beach stuff all taken care of. The one area, and it was so meaningful to me to do correctly, was the hiking stuff. And I started that 2 weeks out. I sent my husband to DSW because he has a size 13 foot and he has all sorts of problems with his feet. And he said, I'm not going to be able to just walk into a hiking store and they'll have to order me something. So he did go over to DSW, but I pushed him. I'm like, you have to do this for me because we're hiking. I am hiking on this trip. And then I went over to Dick's. And I was so disappointed. There was no hiking. And I called my friend Sue. I called my friend Christine. Hello, Christine, if you're watching. I know that they had just come off hiking vacations. And I ended up saying, I'm going to go to Natick Outdoor Store. So those of you that are local, there's this little hidden gem in Natick that's an outdoor store. So the week before our trip, so I'd sent my husband 2 weeks out. I started kind of doing the research on the whole hiking thing 2 weeks out. Then a week out, Friday night, I took my husband shopping, went over to Nordstrom, and he needed a refresh. We went to Nordstrom and we went to Macy's. I actually got him his swimsuit at Macy's. They had a way better selection than Nordstrom did. And I got him some t-shirts. He's a big golfer, had to refresh his golf attire. And that's where I picked up this shawl for this dress. So the power of having a list, doing all the work up front, like he was ringing out in the men's department, I ran over and grabbed this wrap and it was totally perfect. So that was Friday. And then he's not a shopper like me. He was going to be fired as a client because he was just like, we got to go. He wanted to eat. So finish up really fast. But I went over to the Natick Outdoor Store and I bought these sneakers for the hike. They've got sand all over them. And once I did that, and I really took my time on making sure that they were comfortable and getting educated about all the different choices. And I went with these because they were so light. And I had these two 16-year-old young men helping me, and they said that they were really cool and jazzy. So I grabbed them. And then I came immediately home and I pulled out, this was on a Saturday, it was rainy and cold, nobody was here, my husband was at the cave, it was just me and Susie, and I pulled out all of my yoga and shorts and t-shirts and went right back to our core philosophy of making sure you have two shorts. I had these little black ones that were fine, and I really didn't have a second pair that I loved, and I had the sneakers. So everything about this trip was really, I always say pack to the coat if you're traveling in traveling a time of year when you need a coat, like when I went to DC. But this trip was, I'm back again. I hope I can get through this program. There's only 3 people on now. I'm so sorry, but I bought the sneakers. I came home. I ran out to Athleta. I got a pair of gray shorts to go with the shoes. I found this cute little pink red that matched the laces. I did buy a gray and a blue, but they're going back because I didn't need them. And I brought my t-shirts that fit. I find that the ones that pull away from the body and aren't clingy are just more flattering and they're much cooler. And the biggest thing that I bought, my favorite thing that I bought for the whole trip was I then was really kind of stuck on my backpack and all that. And the Wednesday before I left last Thursday, so a week ago. Hello to all my friends that I met a week ago down in Providence. I spoke at a conference for administrative professionals. And I said on my way home, I'm going to go over to Legacy Place in Dedham. I'm going to go to Frugal Fanny's, which I did, and I got these really cute shoes at Frugal Fanny's. I went to Frugal's because I knew that they sell some of the higher end shoes at a discount, and I also picked up a dress that I wore. But I went over to Lululemon, and I bought this bag, and it is my all-time favorite thing now. I wore it to the pool. I just put it in the pool bag. I wore it into the desert and just put it into the tote that it was awesome. And the other thing I did is I got rid of my wallet. So I just got one of these little things. I do this every time I travel, and I just put my credit cards and my cash in there. So I bought that, and I think that So it's number 3 is make your plan. Number 4 is prepare your pack. And I told you what I did 6, 2, and 1 week out. Number 5 is enjoy the experience. And the way that I do that is set up all my clothes the minute I get there. Number 6 is the souvenirs. My husband and I, he had a little bit of a scare with some skin cancer. So one day, because we had time, we both bought these hats, which we love, and we're boaters, so we really needed them. I have them on in the pictures, but they were awesome. So we both got, that's his. Mine is this way. I don't have time to show you how to wear them, but they're Tilly hats. Sarah might put those in. They're just amazing. And again, we're big boaters, and they're like so great. They won't fly off your head, and they're good for boating and hiking because we're now hikers. And I got Susie. Susie Q, come here. Let me go grab Susie. Susie Q, come here, lovey bug. Let me get you. My other souvenir was this little coat for Susie, because I missed her so much. And the souvenirs for me was this beautiful, I don't even know what you call it, shirt. And I got some new jewelry, and I just had the best of time. So I think I covered everything. I'm so sorry about the tech difficulties. We will have the amazing Leah pull this out and put this on YouTube if you want to rewatch it without all the interruptions. But I hope that this 35 minutes with you all today inspired you to create your own bucket list trip, do some planning, embrace it. And I wanted to end tonight how we started with just a prayer. And please send me energy that I can harness and take this amazing experience forward, bring more energy and clarity into our firm, serve with more purpose. I didn't realize how much I needed a vacation like this, and boy, did I get one. And I am so grateful that for my husband and his amazing client for getting us to Arizona, to my friend Sue and our client Charlotte for all their love and advice. And it was just amazing. And I look forward to many more adventures. And maybe next year, was very pet friendly there, I will bring Miss Susie Q. So namaste to all of you. And we will be back in 2 weeks. Next week, I will be at a benefit with my sister-in-law. She is on the board of a shelter down on Rhode Island. So we are all, whole family's going to support Ellen. And Sarah is going on her own vacation with her husband in 2 weeks. So we might do something that week. Or we might be back in 2 weeks. I'm not quite sure yet, but we will not be here next week. I hope that I filled all of you guys with a few new ideas. A lot of them won't cost you a nickel. It's about shopping in your closet, getting really clear about what your budget is, and really what your intention is. And trips, there's so many different intentions for every single trip. And mine was to really get outdoors, to do some hiking, to experience a part of the world that I'd always wanted to experience. I really felt like it was a calling, to be quite honest. And the preparation and the anticipation, I came home so calm. And the other thing that I wanted to end is I did a very slow re-entry today. I took care of some doctor's appointments that I needed to take care of. I want to stay healthy. I want to be able to hike and enjoy this beautiful country now that my kids have launched. I've waited so long to get back to travel, but I took it easy today. I'm back to work tomorrow. I've got a private client on Friday. I'm completely fired up to see her, but wherever your heart is calling you, journal on it, meditate on it. And when the opportunity presents itself like it presented to me, and I knew it would, I just didn't know when it was coming, you pounce. And then you own the experience. You set the intention, you prepare. And I assume that when you're listening to this program, I can assume that dressing well matters to you, and style is a way that you express yourself in the world. I have a lot of fun dressing and showing up in just the right way for all the various parts of my life. So I will say goodnight. Thank you so much for showing up, and we will see you back here. Oh, welcome to May. This is our first program in May. We will have at least 2 more programs in May. We're working hard behind the scenes, and you know where to find us. And anyone new to the group, you get a free, complimentary, no questions asked, 20 minutes on my calendar, on Sarah's calendar. We love to know what makes you tick and how we can serve you as well as we can. Okay, everyone, see you later. Bye-bye.